Welcome back, everyone. We talked about special events at Fifth Third Field. Now let's talk about baseball itself. And yeah, we're going to get inside baseball if we can on this Easter Sunday. I figure it's a holiday. Jim Weber. So why not? Let's talk baseball. Get ready for the season. It's great to have you on the program.
Yeah, good to see you again, Lee. Haven't seen you since we had a coffee together.
That's right. Panera down in Perrysburg,
yes,
right?
Yes.
It is the 39th year for Mr. Weber here.
Yeah, you know, that just means I'm getting old. That's all that means. But it's a lot of fun, and I look forward to every season.
It's traveling secretary as well. Those duties come along with it, right?
Well, you know, I actually do most of that over the winter to get it all set up, but then I coordinate with our athletic trainer, Matt Rankin. So, you know, we hope that every year things run smooth. Every now and then there's a little bump in the road, but we get past it.
How do you keep the zest, the verve, the enthusiasm for the job now, 39 years in, Jim?
You know, I think it kind of builds. You know, when you first start, you're not sure if you're going to do it for 1 year, 5 years, or 15, and 39 is not even thought of. Yeah. But, you know, getting close to 5,000 games, it's like a family for me in the International League.
Right.
Some of the GMs have been there the entire time, and it's like a second family.
And now let's talk about the Mud Hens coming up, the 2013 campaign. I think so much has been made about Rondon, who was potentially going to be the closer for the Tigers. This guy who throws 100 miles an hour. Didn't have a great spring, a lot of distractions, and Leland decides to send him down. But the Tiger loss is the Toledo gain. Talk about that.
Well, we had him at the end of last year, so we know what he could do. And he consistently hit 99 to 101 on the gun, and he actually has a good breaking pitch.
Yes.
But he's young. He has to mature, and I don't know if he threw it for enough strikes down there. But if he ever gets that breaking pitch over the plate, he'll be right back up. And I think they're still counting on him, but he needs some more seasoning.
Yeah, and last year up and down. You know, you're at the mercy of the big club, obviously. How important is it to you that the team win, to keep you going throughout 144 games? I mean,
yes.
Important from your perspective as a broadcaster to stay in it, to keep the enthusiasm that the ball club on the field is good.
Well, after suffering through so many losing years, and then of course we had championships in 05 and 06, which you know, was a lot of fun. But I've always been a Mud Hen guy. Now I'm a Tiger fan too, but I like to.
And I get that impression when I listen to you.
But I like to see our team do well. You know, so sometimes a little upsetting for the fans when you lose people, but that's the way we do business. That's what we're here for.
Right.
You know, I mean, Brad Eldred last year was on fire. 13 home runs inside of 3 weeks, and we're on top of the league, and of course he leaves, and then things start to happen. But that's part of AAA baseball. We'll have between 80 and 120 transactions this year. So we're used to seeing people flying in and out the door.
What are your thoughts on Ryan Rayburn? Because so much has been made of Ryan. He always had a great spring. One of the best guys you'd ever meet, who's spent some time in Toledo, and then he's with the Tigers for a while, and he really struggled last year. So,
you know, there's a couple stories. Ryan Rayburn is with Cleveland.
Yeah, now he had another great spring and makes the team.
And Brennan Bosch may be with the Yankees. These people could come back to bite the Tigers.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and
absolutely.
you know, you hate to see them wind up in your division or in your league. You'd rather see them go somewhere else, you know. But Rayburn was a great guy. You know, and most of those players really are good guys.
Give us some stories, Jim. 39 years of some of the favorite players who've come through the city of Toledo, played at Skeldon Stadium and at Fifth Third Field. Give us some favorite people.
Well, how many of the 1,600 players should I mention?
We've got a couple minutes left, but does anyone come to mind in particular?
No, there's some great stories, though. I mean, like a Kirby Puckett, for example, back in '84. I mean, I took him to the airport up in Maine when he got called up, and he couldn't believe it, and he was just nervous and sweating, and he said, I wonder why they're calling me up, sir. And I said, I don't know, but when you get up there, have fun for the 1 or 2 weeks you'll be there. Yeah, well, nobody ever saw him again.
No, that was it.
He went up and hit like 340 that year, and the rest is history. You know,
incredible career. Tragic loss of Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, he's passed on. But there's all kinds of stories. You know, if you got like a 3-hour show.
We've got a few minutes. We've got a few minutes left. What are you excited about this year in this team that at least will start the season at Fifth Third Field?
Well, I think we're pretty well set. I mean, the pitching's good. Casey Crosby's here. Dwayne Belo is here. We're going to have a pretty good outfield in Castellanos and left. Quentin Berry is here, another guy that may go back.
He may not be too excited to be here.
No, but he's here.
Yeah.
And Danny Dorn and Ben Gez most likely in right field. John Lindsay, who just tore the cover off the ball when we had him for 2 months last year, is back. Kevin Russo, Ines Diaz, one of the best shortstops in the minor leagues, is here. Danny Worth was sent down. We'll probably have him at third. And Brian Holiday behind the plate. On we go.
Yeah, talk about Danny Worth. I think it was 9 or 10 times that he made that that trip back and forth, sent down, back up. I understand he has a place between Detroit and Toledo.
Well,
to cut down on the mileage there.
And an option, of course, lasts for a whole year. So
right. It takes a special person to persevere, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
Jim,
one thing is they know they have a chance to go back, and it's so close. If they get called up at 3 o'clock, they're there at 4.
Right.
And the amazing thing is that when they come back down, they usually come in pretty quick because I think there's like a 72-hour rule or 48-hour rule where they could just kind of take their time. But they tell them to get back down here, get things going, and you'll be back. You'll get back up.
Favorite places to go when you're on the road? Because
Yeah,
you're on the
let's
road a
see.
lot.
One of the favorites has to be when we play the Norfolk Tides, which is Virginia Beach. Not bad. Go down to Atlanta to take on Gwinnett. There's some pretty good places.
Yeah.
Our division, I think, is great with Columbus, Louisville, Indianapolis, and Toledo. I mean, even players in the other divisions will say they like all 4 of the cities and stadiums and things to do in our four cities.
How's the game changed? 39 years, Jim. The players a lot better today. Work ethic. I mean, how has it evolved over the years?
Well, they're probably in better shape because in the old days you actually needed spring training, and now they're on these workout schedules and everything. But the game hasn't changed much. The technology has, especially in our business when not everybody even had radio. Now we do all of our games at home on TV.
Right.
You can, they're
On
streamed.
BCSN there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can watch them anywhere in the world on your computer. Of course, all the games are on audio-wise. So I mean, none of this stuff was even dreamed of 20 years ago.
Give us a day in the life of a play-by-play man at AAA baseball who's done it for a long, long time. Say you're in Norfolk, okay, and you have an evening game at against the Tides. So when's the day begin for Jim Weber?
Actually, the actual baseball day begins around, I'd say, about 2 or 3 o'clock. But then you have to get into, I don't know if you call it a rhythm, but you wake up in the morning, you have the coffee, you're watching TV, and then you might go to the mall and spend money. I've done that before.
Are you a golfer? Because I know there's a lot of golf that gets played on.
Yeah,
on
I
the
used to
road.
take the clubs along, and I don't that much anymore. But our staff likes to do that, at least 2 or 3 of them. And
You should
usually
just name them right now.
And there's a deal. Then there's a deal. Yeah, like Phil Nevin loves to play. And of course it depends who your coaches are.
The manager, right?
Yeah, he loves to play. Larry Parrish, when he was here, and these guys are good golfers too.
Great athletes. They were Major League Baseball players and good ones.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
Talk about Parrish and Nevin. Yeah.
But if the game's at 7, I'm always there at least by 3:30 or 4. You're visiting people, you're doing your interviews, and then the lineups and whatever kind of sheet you're using or however you want to set yourself up. And then we start like 30 minutes prior anyway. And then you have to make sure you have no technical problems, things like that. But
When you're on the road, though, Jim, you're by yourself. I mean, it's
Right,
all you.
yeah,
It's
it's always
all
been
you.
like
yeah,
that, too.
yeah.
Yeah,
At home,
yeah.
you sometimes have Bill Clark does it with you sometimes at
yeah,
home, right?
Matt Melzak. We have lots of
Melzak,
people
right?
at home.
Right. But on the road, you are on your own. I want to ask you about the players that have come through. You've seen so many great players. Anybody who just stood out and said, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's so much better than anyone else out there.
Well, I don't know about Hall of Fame, but I remember when a guy like Eddie Murray came through, or some of the Yankee, A-Rod. A-Rod played in Columbus. I mean, like I said, this goes on and on and
Yeah.
on. Sometimes you don't see that coming. Sometimes these guys develop when you don't expect it, and then it could be an opposite thing too. So.
And then sometimes you don't get a chance to see some of them. Then they bypass AAA, and then you never get a chance
Back
to see
in
them
our
down here.
Minnesota days, that happened because the Twins were so bad. We never saw Ken Herbeck here. We never saw Gary Gaetti here. I mean, I met them, and they would come back as instructors later, whatever. But yeah, you're right. They go right around us sometimes.
Quite a career. Congratulations. Go get year number 39. Jim Weber, thank you, man.
Thanks, Lee.
Have a great season. And that'll do it for this edition of Conklin & Company. Make it a great Easter Sunday, everybody. We'll see you back here next Sunday and all this week on 13 ABC Action News. Take care.